University. Up at the top of the course, we have lane 4, Indiana University, lane 3, University of North Carolina, lane 2, UCF. All crews are sitting ready at the start.
So in that first flight of first fours, those crews really showing their quality. Radcliffe coming through 7:32 with the fastest 4 split of the day thus far in Ohio State, 7:36, the third fastest split of the day. So that was a quick one.
And we've got our final flight of the varsity fours. The first varsity four, we've got IU lane 4 closest to the boathouse, UNC right in the middle, and UCF in lane 2 closest to the shore. And it looks like UNC may just have a seat or two on the pack, but it is a close, very close pack here off the start.
So I believe this is the UCF boat that garnered the Big 12 Boat of the Week after their performance last week. So they'll be looking to build on that, coming in with a lot of confidence from their win down at the Sarasota 2K.
Well, that is fantastic. It is always an honor to be the Boat of the Week, and it definitely puts some motivation in these crews. We'll see what they are able to do here against that UNC crew who right off the start is a couple seats ahead of the pack, but again, very close.
And this has been the pattern all day with UNC taking it out hard in these first 250, 500 meters.
UNC a couple seats above IU just a seat or two above UCF, but the crews are close.
So as a coxswain, if you're in this situation and you're maybe a little bit ahead or a little bit behind where you wanted to be and it's quite competitive, your athletes can see, the athletes right next to them. Are you adjusting your race plan to the tactical situation? Or are you sticking to what you went over with your coach?
I do like to try to stick to the race plan where I can. That being said, if I can hear another coxswain call a power 10, right around when they hit that 7th stroke, I'm going to call my own 10, and we're going to respond in a meaningful way. And for that reason, I would sometimes call what I call silent 10s, because I would whisper it to my team so the other teams couldn't hear what we were doing. And the other thing that I change when I'm this close to other boats is I focus a little bit less on technique, and I really say, this is what seat I'm up against. Get me a quarter seat. Get me a half a seat. And really laser focus in on the space that you have. We've got that UNC crew about a boat length ahead of IU, but IU and UCF are battling it out bow ball to bow ball. I'm sure both of their coxswains, again, are going, I'm even with their coxswain. Just get me a quarter seat up. And if you got that quarter seat, now give me a half and just really take it incrementally every stroke.
Yeah, and I think we can see all these crews definitely seem to be taking that approach, especially in these choppier conditions when the margins can open and close in kind of a bit of a more herky-jerky way than instead of just walking through some other team on glassy surface.
Yeah, in these conditions as a coxswain, you kind of forget about how clean the blade looks and how much water you might be getting splashed with, and you're really just focused on get the bow ball ahead and keep it ahead. And we're seeing that UCF crew get just a little bit of contact on the stern deck of UNC. They're doing a great job really not letting them go. And we've got UCF just a couple seats above IU.
Yeah, and that contact is so important. As soon as you can attach that rubber band to the boat ahead of you, it can stretch. But if it breaks, it's a lot harder to get back on.
And Raleigh, as you were mentioning earlier, while it might be a boat length, that's really only a couple of seconds, and anything can happen in a couple of seconds. Olivia and I talk all the time about our Big Ten race where this was exactly the position. We had contact, but we were a full boat length down, and we were able to get ahead in that really last little bit of water. And so it'll really be on that UCF crew. Can they get back? Do they have the water?
Yeah, I think also important to make sure that the rowers are keeping focused on just rowing a really clean race, as we saw in that fourth varsity 8 race. Things can happen that can have a more than fitness, more than pacing effect on the outcome. So a little bit of an extra layer to the competition today.
UNC still a full boat length ahead out in front. UCF just has their bow ball on the stern deck there of UNC, and IU holding their bow ball on the stern deck of UCF.
So this UCF 4 is coxed by Viana Smith in the 4 seat, Nastia Tas, Vulanas, Kesha Bruette in 3, Sophia Keller in 2, and Amber Tulak in the 1.
And their coxswain is a sophomore from McLean, Virginia. I am also from Virginia, so I do wonder if we have practiced on the same courses to the extent that she coxed in high school. That is amazing. And we've got that UCF crew coming just a little bit up on the UNC crew. UNC is still about 3 seats ahead of the pack, but UCF is fighting there. Again, will they have the water to do it? They're about halfway through that UNC crew. UNC, again, still about a couple seats ahead.
Yeah, and UCF really starting to move now. This is a clear, intentional tactic to start to really stamp their authority on this last quarter of the race or so.
Yeah, they have the momentum, and they are pushing that momentum. They're only about a seat or 2 behind. They're really working their way up on this UNC crew. And that can be hard when you're a coxswain. You don't want to turn all the way around, but all of a sudden you can hear another coxswain and another crew, and you start to go, okay, we got to pick it up again. And it can be kind of surprising if you've been out decidedly all race. UNC is responding, though, keeping that UCF crew just about halfway through their shell. This will be a very interesting sprint.
Yeah, and this is great boat speed from UCF. We're just going to have to see if they've got enough real estate to pull it off here.
I'm sure both coxswains are calling up the stroke rate. Can they sprint early, and can they sprint in a meaningful way? These crews are just about bow ball to bow ball here.
Folks, it's really looking like this one's going to come right down to the wire. Athletes trying to squeeze every last bit of power through into the water.
This is a big push for this last 250 as they approach the finish line, neck and neck.
Both crews in a full sprint here.
And I think it's UCF just ahead, just a little bit.
Yeah, we can see the UCF bow ball now starting to open a secure margin headed to the line. Here we go.
And that was a close one, folks, with UCF just ahead of UNC. And that's IU across the line.